Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me today. If you are returning to my videos, thank you so much. If you're brand new, welcome to my videos. I welcome you guys. Thank you so much for the support. I love my few subscribers that I have. Just so you guys are aware, I do go by Prairie Vintage Jewelry, and I'm going by Fancy for Glass on YouTube, but I am both. If you want, you can certainly check out my website, prairievintagejewelry.com. But certainly for today, we're doing a pick a card reading. I am an energy reader. I've been reading energy pretty much all my life. As far as tarot and reading cards is concerned, I've been doing that for at least a couple decades, and I use energy and spirit to channel my messages and help me with the cards that I see, communicate the situation, the energy I'm picking up to the viewer. So I do really appreciate, and I'm very honored to do this for you guys, and feel very blessed that you trust what it is that I am communicating to you today. Thank you. So for this reading, this is the fourth time I am recording this, and oh my goodness, I've read pile number one 3 times now in full, and each story was completely different, and either my battery was dead or I didn't have enough room on my recorder. But either which way, today, I was very excited to say, hey, I'm going to attempt this again, and sure enough, my battery died, which was the third reading. But I am so full of energy to get into this. I've plugged in my phone. I am ready to do this reading. I am feeling very energetic right now to get you guys the message you need. For this reading, it is specifically going to be a reading around yes or no. So you want to have a yes or no question. If your question can be answered with a yes or a no, then that is the right type of question you should be proposing in this type of reading. Now, if you pick a pile, which is what you'll do in a bit after giving some consideration, if you listen to that pile, I will pick a card first just to kind of get the tone or the circumstance of that reading. If it's not resonating and it's not really related to your question, but it is a circumstance or situation in your life right now that you are dealing with, or it does sound like something that might resonate, you may want to listen to that pile. I feel that might be Spirit's way to tell you that yes, you have a question, but Spirit wants to communicate something else that might take a little bit more priority or a little bit more in the forefront. And in fact, I'm finding that in order for something to be a yes or a no, maybe something else needs to happen, which also would result in a yes or a no. So you can see the dilemma here, right? So if it's part of a circumstance you're dealing with in general, you might want to stick around. If it's not resonating at all, please do not, suffer through listening to the whole reading, which, like I said, we'll pull a card from each of these at the beginning of the reading, and if it's not resonating, go to another video altogether. If you want to bounce from one pile to another, feel free to do that as well. Now, sometimes the cards will come back yes or no, but sometimes they do come back as undetermined, or no answer yet, and we will read why there may be a blockage or what might need to happen or in order for this to kind of move forward, or a circumstance around why it's not moving forward. So in that instance, like I said, there may be another pile that might speak to your circumstance a little further down the line, but we will make the best of what it is that we see to give a clear answer today. So what I'd like for you to do is take a look at these piles. We have the brown leather pump, and it has the crystal jewel. This is for the Ethereal Visions deck right here, deck number 1, group number 1, pile number 1. And we do have the brown leather handbag with the clear crystal that matches the pump. Absolutely love this deck. This is the Murder of Crows, and I will probably say that every time I record with it because I am just so in love with it. Now, doesn't mean this is your pile. Doesn't even mean that what the message in this pile is necessarily positive or negative, but just absolutely love the depictions on this deck. This was pile number 2, and then we have pile number 3, which is this brass skeleton key. And for the cards, we have the Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas deck. So I'll give you guys a minute to pick your pile and come with your question, a yes or no question, and then return back. And we will see you in the first reading of your pile. So thank you. All right, so guys, we're gonna get into pile number 1. I'm just gonna move pile number 3 and pile number 2 aside so we can get right into it. Now, I was making mention, if you guys skipped the intro, that I am Prairie Vintage Jewelry, but I also go by Fancy for Glass, and I am going by Fancy for Glass for YouTube. I am an energy reader, and I have been reading cards for at least 2 decades. I do use the message from Spirit and the energy that I'm picking up to do a thorough reading. If this is not the reading that you guys are feeling, if you're not resonating with it at all, if it's not applicable to your situation, but it is applicable to maybe another situation you're dealing with, you might want to stick around. But if it's definitely not resonating at all, please go pick another pile or go to another reading altogether. Now, I do want to make mention that I do private readings. My private readings are very flexible as far as costs go. I'm not really set in any type of real format or structure. I do need to hear basics of the circumstance or situation that you need clarity on in order for me to give a suggestion or some guidance around what type of reading needs to happen and the costs involved. So it could literally be just answering a yes or no and giving some background, or it could be a general reading or a little more in-depth reading, but it really would depend on the type of reading that is required for your situation. But you can email me, and my email address is down below, to get an idea of what that looks like. And if you just want to message me, I'll do my very best to get back to you. But I do appreciate your feedback, and certainly welcome you guys to be as candid as you can be in the comments, and I will do my best to respond to every single one of you if you do have a question. All right, so for this reading, like I promised, we will be pulling one card to kind of get the gist or the overall circumstance that you're inquiring about, to see if this is your pile. And we do have the 8 of Swords. Okay, so clearly this is a situation where you are, I mean, you wouldn't be consulting the cards if you weren't feeling like you were kind of stuck in some sort of way. But what I am picking up from Spirit right off the hop is that you really have a bigger role than what you are thinking you have in this situation to make things happen in the direction that you want. And maybe you're taking a more inactive role. So I'm already picking up here that this answer can go either which way, because it's really going to depend on you being able to identify where you're able to move forward and act in a way that's going to give you a positive outcome, or you could just remain, you know, frozen or not, or indifferent and not do anything and then get no results. So really this is going to be driven by how you are going to you know, move forward in this circumstance, which sounds very general. Again, you know, because this is a general reading and we're reaching out to a lot of people, the situation at hand, I'm picking up that this is not necessarily so much, the yes or no isn't so much going to make or break this situation, but the story behind it, or the circumstance of what needs to happen or what you need to do, and all that is kind of more key here. So I know I did make you guys ask a yes or no, but I have a feeling that it might not be as simple as a yes or no for some of you guys, which I'm getting this 8 of Swords. So I am excited to dig into these piles and get more information around what it is about. But if any of what I'm saying is resonating with you guys, that it is something that you feel that maybe your intuition was telling you, or that you do have some kind of control over, you know, and maybe you feel like you don't, but Spirit is here to remind you that you have way more control than you're, you know, letting on in this circumstance situation. So we will read it and see what it's about. But I am picking up a multitude of different topics here. As you can tell, there's a lot of different viewers that might have different circumstances, whether it's around the heart or around, oh, we already got one popping out, or around maybe this is Spirit's way telling you, well, now this, okay, well, this is just means a decision, right? But it is the Lovers and it is upside down. You know, when I see an ill-dignified card, it usually means to me that there is some sort of blockage, you know, in a decision that needs to be made. I mean, you're here yes or no, so clearly there is blockage. Lovers could certainly be around, you know, a connection, a soulmate type connection, or a partner type connection, or where there's another individual involved, not necessarily just you. So this is going to impact another individual. But this isn't normally how I read the yes or no's, but I just feel like that first card, I didn't really give you guys all that much information. Another card's coming out. Okay, so Spirit really wants to tell me that it is about romantic, emotional, something very tied to, maybe put it here so you guys can see, an emotional heart matter that is in question here. Okay, so that is what we got. If this is not resonating at all, please move on to pile 2 or pile 3, and I will continue with this reading. We will clear. Spirit, please give us the most concise message so that I can communicate to pile number 1 what the best answer is at this time for their circumstance. Okay. So right off the hop, I am getting a strong yes. I'm getting a strong yes. You know, things can still change because energy is very fluid. So what might be a yes right now could certainly be a no an hour from now, right? But for the most part, it is very favorable yes towards something of the heart matter that we've already determined. We have only 2 cards here regarding a decision, regarding another individual, regarding starting an emotional new beginning, a new offering of love, which is really what those 2 cards speak of. So that pile was very short and very small. So we're going to get into the second pile here, maybe get some insight around background in the circumstance and situation so we can get more clarity. I'm going to shuffle these over here. Now I did notice I do like to touch the cards a lot, and it might look very irritating on video, but it really helps me to channel the message. And if I speak quickly, I do apologize. I will do my best to slow my roll so that I'm clear and concise. Okay, so just give me a minute to take a look at this. I am picking up a history here, kind of a long history here with somebody, with your other half or your partner or the other individual that we most likely saw in pile 1, where there was a point in the connection where somebody had to just go away in order for something to become very clear for the other individual. I'm picking up that it was most likely you that had to step away so that you can get or gain some more tangible progress from your individual. Now, if that didn't happen yet, that will be something that's either happening right now or will be happening very soon. I do see that there was some discussions for some of you guys around maybe a long distance connection and maybe wanting that individual to move closer or come closer, but for a lot of you it just speaks of maybe there has been some distance between you two in the connection for some time, and that you know, someone was putting forward the effort to try to move things forward, and while the other one was not doing that. But I do see that somebody in this connection was very dependent on the other individual, and maybe codependency of sorts that had to kind of be broken out, and that little period of time really helped with the relationship, because there was a lot of blockages, there was a lot of stale energy that just needed to get grounded. That I feel like that grounding is something that needed to happen or will need to happen in order for the answer to be a yes. So for those of you guys who have gone through this already, know that the progress to actually ground something and do something tangible, such as you know, really, if it is moving closer to your individual, and the individual will be moving closer, or you moving closer to them, or you know, someone that's making a little bit more of an effort. It's not just discussion at this point. It is going to be something that is you know, coming forward. Now, as far as I see, the individual kind of wants to might still not quite be at the same level as the one who left. The one who left, I think, has a little bit more clarity. The one who kind of got left behind, I guess, if you will, is still in a state where they gotta sort and figure things out. I could see mentally, I think they're a little bit distraught, which is they're not getting clarity that they need in order to help the situation. They are, I think at this point, they are just kind of going along with the actions in order to, you know, not maybe lose you, in order to keep things going forward. But they're not really, it's not really coming from a place of because they want to, or that they thought things through. It's just they don't want to be in the state of influx right now where they're not as happy as they can be in the situation or circumstance. So they want things to move forward. So maybe there's a different reason for this person wanting to make things happen in this way, but either which way, there is a union of the minds in, yes, you know, moving forward with this decision. Now, we did talk about the Eight of Swords being something that you had some involvement with. So the involvement would be, if you are looking at this saying there wasn't a separation where I actively took myself out of the connection for a short time, it is saying that that is something that you might possibly need to do in order for things to move forward, that you do have control in this situation, that there is some codependency, and that would be the best course of action. Again, this is a collective reading, so this might not be applicable to everybody watching, but that is something that I'm seeing with the cards in order for your person to maybe break out of the the state that they're in. I am also picking up that for some of you guys, this person might not be as committed as you might want them to be, and there is one person that is maybe a little bit more dependent and a little bit more clingy to the other person, and is learning to really just really untie themselves from having that codependency. So I think the intent is good, on your end, from what I see, to really try to break free from that codependency. It could be, again, your energy or your person's energy. I do want to see what's on the bottom of the deck here. So we had the King of Cups, which I feel is very representative of, somebody who is very level-headed, but who can still speak of their emotions, who could still, offer insight around, how they're feeling, talk about feelings in a very calm, cool, and collected way, without being so codependent. So I think that codependency is what needs to kind of maybe be addressed, or at least looked at. So for the third pile in this reading, for pile number 1, we have the Two of Cups, ill-dignified. We have the Three of Pentacles as well in reverse, Empress, the Fool in reverse, Judgment, the Moon in reverse, Temperance, we have the Five of Cups in reverse, the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, we have the Strength in reverse, the World in reverse, the Page of Pentacles, and then we have the Emperor, which I will actually shuffle. I want to get these off screen, so let's see if we can shuffle these in a way that you can still see them. Okay, so give me a minute here to pick up the energy. Yeah, guys, it's really clear what the cards are showing to me. It's this give and take that wasn't really happening in a relationship of love, where one person was giving more than the other person, as far as emotionally extending more energy than the other person, and they were feeling like maybe that other person wasn't putting forward the effort, paying attention to the details, extending the same type of energy, and feeling very, Five of Cups. But until they decided that, again, I have a feeling this is the person who walked away, they felt that, you know what, I'm not wanting to feel Five of Cups. And if you don't know, Five of Cups is really feeling like this individual here, where you're just down and out, you're heartbroken essentially with the way situations are going when it comes to, matters of the heart. So you're down and out. And I think up until that point, then the individual who decides to, really break free from that Eight of Swords and understand and realize that they're the Empress energy, that they're the ones that are able to really stand up for themselves and know their self-worth, right? They were feeling very very dissatisfied in what they were experiencing. Queen of Pentacles does speak of maybe a little bit of a materialistic type person in here. So maybe the individual was not really concerned with feelings all that much, which might have transpired some of this stuff. But the Queen of Pentacles does speak about that energy. So for some of you guys, that's coming up. And then we have the Fool reversed here, which the Fool is usually a pretty positive card, as far as somebody who is going in not knowing what to expect, blindly, just saying, okay, I will, take these steps, not knowing what's going to happen, but I trust that where I'm going is going to be right for me. But because it is in reverse, we are seeing, and then the Strength, that there is someone holding back, really not wanting to take that step to the next level until you see that the Judgment card comes right after this period of time where I believe one individual has to step away, disconnect from the connection, where the other person has an awakening moment essentially and realize that, uh-oh, this is the end, you know, potentially of me and my person, of this connection coming to an end, and really considering, you know, what it is that they want and communicating, getting the clarity, right? Because the moon speaks of, you know, things are muddled and not having the clarity that you need maybe to make a decision, because there are hidden things that aren't very clear. But having it upside down, I feel that the blockage, or at least there's more clarity now, for this person to really consider making that offer to take that next step of something tangible, right? Not just talking about it, not just saying, well, this is what I kind of want or what I feel or what I wish, but really putting forward a message to say, here's what I want to do, right? Whether they do it or not, I guess is yet to be seen. And in this pile, we don't really run cards that show action cards, but it would be great if maybe there's a reading you guys can tap into to see if your person's actions are going to be following through. But because we got yes, chances are your person is going to be following through with what message that they're going to be telling you, and the message is a message of an offer, and they do want to be Emperor with the Empress, which is the highest state really you can be of a balance with, you know, two individuals, right? The King of Cups speaks about that, you know, that balance within being able to communicate emotions and feelings in a balanced way. So I do feel like this connection is very strong and it is heading in the right direction. I do feel like again, I'm making the assumption that the Eight of Swords is my viewer, but that the Eight of Swords that the viewer is feeling is maybe a little more intense than what I'm actually seeing here as a problem in the connection, because I'm not really seeing that there is an issue with the connection so much, rather than this, you know, this taking it to the next level and the individual having to kind of pull away their energy in order for the other party to move forward with that, you know, to make this Two of Cups right side up and have that equal give and take, balanced relationship. Because right now that is the biggest struggle. So, I mean, I said I don't see much wrong with the issue. Obviously the issue is that one person was giving more, but I am hearing from Spirit that maybe we need to, we as in viewers here, ask ourselves, and everyone needs to ask themselves, am I giving because I'm doing this for something that I would like out of this, or am I giving all this energy because I just want to give energy and all this emotion and put in all this effort just out of love because I want to? And if the answer is because I want to, then there really shouldn't have been, you know, an energy of being upset and having to let go. I understand wanting to, you know, have a reciprocal connection, but we do need to look at our own actions and say, okay, well, am I putting more forward than maybe, you know, my person is used to doing? Well, that can't really be the person's issue if maybe you're just an over giver, and some people are over givers, right? So as long as we're looking at our own actions, not saying that anything you did was wrong, but just taking a look at what it is that you know you contribute, and not necessarily assuming that what your person is doing is on the wrong side of it just because it feels painful or has put you in a position where now you're contemplating whether this is worth it or not. If you are contemplating whether to pull away from this connection, and that hasn't happened yet, I would suggest that the cards are saying that that is what kind of transpires things to move forward. So that would be a yes. And that's what I'm seeing here. So I do want to pull an oracle card just to give maybe an advice, and we can pull some keywords, which I probably should have done at the beginning of the reading, but maybe will give us a little bit more clarity as to whether this is our person. Okay, so we have 1111 popping up. So maybe you're feeling like this is a soulmate type connection. Maybe you're seeing a lot of synchronicities, you know, in this, since you started this connection with this person. Okay, we do have a black car, so maybe one of you guys drives a black car. Maybe one of you guys wants a black car. Maybe you're looking at a black car right now, or you own a black car, but that's something that is coming up. So we do have mother. So maybe you have a mother that's involved, or your person has a mother. Maybe you're a mother. Maybe there's mother issues, or mother is a big part of what's going on here. Maybe your individual has some, you know, deep-rooted mother complex that needs to be resolved, and this one does want to pop out. And then we have fitness. So possibly you or your person is into fitness, into getting healthy, maybe vitamins, working out, running, gym, maybe work for a health shop. Maybe it's something that you've intended. Maybe for the one that's gonna now move away from the connection, they want to focus a little bit more on fitness, and maybe that's something to kind of help them through this phase as they're trying to get away from this connection, to really just be focused on themselves and get healthy. But those are key words. So if you are resonating with that, it's just more confirmation that this is indeed your pile, and that the answer to your question is yes, in a favorable way. And we will pull timelines. So this is divinely timed. Now we do know by the 1111 that this is a divine connection. If you do believe in twin flame, this could very certainly be a twin flame connection, which I am picking up. And divinely timed means that things are going to happen as they unfold. There's nothing really that can be rushed, because the spirit knows exactly when things are supposed to unfold. And this is why things have been so up and down. You can't really time something like this, even though it may feel like you know, all hope is lost at some point. Really, your spirit guides are going to be there to help you to get through any rough periods in time. There is a lot of up and down, but know that it's all for the greater good. Now I'm going to just ask Spirit to kindly give us just an idea of what might be significant in a timeline here, so that viewers in pile number 1 can have just an idea of maybe when things might feel a little different. Not necessarily when the yes will happen, but just give us an idea of a special timeline. So we're getting February here for when things might be significantly different than what we're experiencing right now. I know we're recording in June. This is a timeless reading, so if you are in June, you're thinking, oh my goodness, I cannot last till February, or that February is so far away. Really, this question was posed in a way that when will you be completely out of the woods? Maybe, you know, in February you'll be sitting there thinking, oh, I can't believe back in June I had all these thoughts, or it was so far away, and all of this stuff has happened, and it's a complete different picture. So really February is going to maybe give a good indication of, okay, this is kind of what I work towards, or here's really where I start feeling where it was that I felt my fullest self, or where things will become completely crystal clear in your again, it's connected to your circumstance with your individual. So that's for timeline. I am going to pull an oracle, like I said, and we will see what messages we have here. Just give me a minute. Okay, so now, like I said, this is my 3rd time recording for pile number 1. I sure hope it's still recording, but I wasn't intending on pulling any oracles. But I think we need some words of advice, something to consider. Thank you, Spirit. So we have here believe. So this is really beautiful for those who are, again, I'm picking up the divine connection, you know, the twin flame, soulmate. It's very difficult to stay strong in a connection where you feel as though, you know, you're at a really low point. But really, if you believe in what it is that you're wanting and where you are going within yourself, your truest happiness, right? Because here we have Mother Nature really just surrounding this child. you know, rather than maybe having an outcome, just believe in what it is that's going to make you happiest, right? An innocent child who's with nature, all of these things are pure, so it's like a pure happiness for this situation that I'm feeling. That is the answer, to really believe that that is possible for you to have you know, a positive perspective in your happiness, right? So believe that the best outcome will happen, not necessarily that the best outcome is with this individual, even though I can safely say I am sensing and picking up that it is a divinely guided connection, and that it is close to a very beautiful union, but just having that believe in that will definitely go a long way and make you more in tune with who you are as a person, to be able to offer to your counterpart what it is that, you know, they will need in this connection, and vice versa, right? So that is all I have for pile number 1. If you want, you can certainly stick around for pile number 2 and even pile 3. If you think there's any messages in there, we'll do the same thing and pull a card to kind of get the topic at hand. If it sounds like something that's resonating, or another situation going on in the connection or situationship, then you may want to resonate with that as well. All right, thank you so much. I was so blessed to do your reading. We will move to pile number 2. Hey, pile number 2, I'm just going to move pile number 1 out of our way, and we will get into your reading. Okay, so if you pick pile number 2, do have the Murder of Crows deck, and it is the brown leather handbag with the clear crystal gem. This will be your reading. Oh, all right. So we will be pulling a card off the hop just to get a sense of the circumstance or situation, so that you'll know whether this is your pile or not. I will pull some keywords as well off the beginning. I know in pile number 1 we kind of pull them closer to the end, but I think that might weed out some viewers that might not be resonating with any of the keywords that we're going to pull. I do want to make mention, for those of you guys who skipped the intro, that I am Prairie Vintage Jewelry, but I am going by Fancy for Glass on YouTube, and I am an energy reader. I've been reading energy all my life. I've been reading tarot cards for at least 2 decades, and I use the energy from spirit to feel, sense, and hear, and use the cards to see messages that will help to communicate to you, the viewer. I do thank you so much for letting me in and welcoming me to your life, and sharing with me, you know, some of the energy that you might be going through. If you're not resonating with this, to your question, to your yes or no question, then it may be a message to another area in your life that needs answering, and might need to be answered before it can move forward to the question that you actually have, something that might need to be resolved or looked at beforehand. So if it's not resonating at all, then just move to another pile or another video altogether. Okay, so we're gonna pull one card from this to kind of get an overall feel of the circumstance or situation. So Spirit, please give me the most accurate representation of what it is that I'm hearing and feeling for the energy for pile number 2. Okay, so we have the 7 of Wands in reverse. So just give me a minute. So I'm feeling as though there's been someone who has wronged you, did something, deceived you, and you guys are already possibly made up. I'm picking up for a lot of you guys. You guys are already forgave them or had the discussion, but still have not fully made up with them on the inside. So might still be harboring some resentment or some anger about something that was done, whether you should forgive them or not, even though I do sense that there was discussion about forgiving or that type of thing. But I'm really picking up that somebody slighted someone, did something that wasn't on the up and up, might have broke somebody's trust, and then they're coming back in, or that you suspect somebody isn't being very up and honest, and you're kind of maybe torn between whether they are telling the truth or doing it in an up and up type way, being honest about how they're handling something. So I am picking up that type of an energy with this Seven of Wands. So we're going to leave that here. I'm going to pull some key words that might help to determine if this is your pile. So I know that was a little bit vague-ish, or at least to me. Maybe it's making complete sense to viewers. Like, yes, that's exactly what I'm feeling, which I hope so. Hopefully, even if this gets through to one person. Okay, I'm having this one wanting to jump out right away. So travel. Okay, so I'm picking up maybe, you know, somebody, your partner or somebody did some travel and there's some question around what happened during the travel. Maybe somebody likes to travel a lot. Maybe there's a trip that is planned that somebody is wondering whether they should go on or trust someone with, but travel is a key word. Maybe somebody works at a travel agency or likes to travel or doesn't want to travel, or there's a trip that got canceled or a trip in question, but that's the type of energy I am getting from the travel. I'm going to pull this one here. Capricorn, and we got 222. So take that as it resonates. Maybe there is a strong Capricorn or Earth energy, which could be Taurus or Virgo. 222 could be a synchronicity that you guys are seeing. Maybe February is important. Maybe the 22nd of February. Maybe just, you know, maybe that somebody has a birthday that's in February, or the 2nd or the 22nd. Another card. Okay, I think this one probably wants to come out at us. So we have cook. So maybe somebody likes to cook. Maybe there's a lot of discussions around recipes. Maybe you're cooking right now as you're listening to this. Maybe somebody is a chef. Maybe that's a topic you guys like to talk about. Maybe you guys both like to cook. Maybe your partner likes to cook, or the individual in question here. Maybe the question is around cooking or a restaurant of sorts. I'll pull one more card. I just heard, oh, I love it when you cook that. So maybe your person loves a certain type of food that you cook, or you guys talk about a certain type of food. Sweets. So we do have someone with a sweet tooth. We do have someone that likes to cook. Maybe they like dessert. Maybe that's more baking. Maybe somebody calls someone sweets. You know, I'm just really sensing here, just in this type of a connection, maybe it is not necessarily just a friend type relationship. Maybe there's a little bit more here, a little bit more romantic type in nature that I'm picking up. Okay, so I will get into the yes or no part. Okay, Spirit, please give us the most accurate answer at this time with the energy of yes or no to pile number 2's question. And if it is yes or no, please give us some insight as to why and what might be blocking. I'm just gonna clear that. Okay. Without further ado, oh my goodness. Painful process getting there, but your answer, are you ready, is a yes. It is a yes, and not without a lot of strife, or a lot of effort, a lot of just a lot. So I am picking up that just off the hop that maybe, you know, there's been a little bit of a person who is trying to maybe control the situation a little bit more than they need to, but that person who's trying to control, so whether it be you or your individual, I'm picking up that it's most likely you here, the viewer. But if you're trying to control a situation, that Spirit's just saying maybe take a step back to have a deeper perspective. I know pile 1 also came out with that message where there was a break needed in order to get that higher perspective, but I am picking up that would give a lot of clarity into making this the yes that it is, that will be the final, I guess, answer. Well, nothing's final, but this energy is saying that will make this outcome a yes. So without getting too deep into every single aspect of the situation, I'm going to just kind of pull these cards, and hopefully you guys can see them all here without me having to read them all to you, because there is a lot of cards. I'll see what sort of energies I can... Oh, I haven't seen this card in this deck yet, but it is in reverse. Okay, that's the 10 of Swords. So when we see 10 of Swords, we know that it means business. It is in reverse though, so it sounds to me like pain might be ending. So give me a minute to just wrap my mind around what it is that's going on here. This is to me, well, I'll say once I'm done. This is to me a continuation of pile 1 is what I'm seeing here, but maybe just for some of you guys that stuck around, because what I'm seeing here is the, because we did see the 3 of Pentacles and the other one in reverse, which was somebody not making an effort. Now we see the person making an effort here. We do see, you know, the 21 Major Arcana card here in reverse, something kind of coming to really an end, which is realizing that the hope that somebody had in a connection that they really wanted to hang on to move forward with was kind of at risk. It was at risk because of maybe somebody's actions that was not really fully realized. Somebody might have been acting a little bit non-committal, you know, and not giving enough in a relationship where it should be a balanced give and take. So we do have the, you know, the card of Independence, 9 of Pentacles, which could be beautiful and somebody realizing their potential, which could be, again, like I mentioned, the person who decides, you know what, I'm just going to be dependent and do my own thing. But it also speaks of the other party who might have been non-committal and saying, I'm just good at going it alone and doing it myself. The Star card normally speaks of hope, but because I do see, you know, the pouring of the cups, it's almost like the hope is draining, is leaving, right? That's kind of how I read this card. Even though the hope is there, it's like a fleeting attempt at trying to save the hope, you know, because of that, you know, the person who wasn't equally giving is now realizing that they're going to have to put in the effort required, the details to the situation required in order to keep what it is that they want to keep, rather than that person, you know, leaving or someone else coming in and taking that person away from them. So it is going to be, you know, a balance for that individual, because they might not be used to what it is that they have to put in of the energy. So they are going to be, you know, feeling a little bit strapped thin, running too thin, trying to, you know, steal from Peter to pay Paul, like this whole balancing act that they need to do in order to kind of juggle everything and make ends meet within this connection. We do see that the Queen of Swords is in reverse here, so I do think that maybe, you know, instead of arguing and being combative, this person's now kind of letting down their guard, maybe not being as vocal as they were against the idea of committing, because they are now, or it could be the person who walks away is now, I'm just tired of talking. So someone here is just saying, you know what, I'm tired of talking, I'm tired of thinking about this, I'm kind of just not gonna even you know, stand around for this while you figure things out. We do have the Nine of Cups in reverse, which means maybe somebody has to, you know, concede a little bit because they're not getting what it is that they want fully, because it is blocked. But really, the result of that action leads to the Six of Cups, which for me, even though it is somebody thinking about, you know, how things were in the past, maybe reminiscing or feeling something connected to the past or past memories, it really also speaks to a divine partnership union. You see the mirror here, so you have two individuals mirroring each other. We did see 1111. I don't know if it was in this pile, but we did see 1111 come up, so I know that there might be a twin flame or a soulmate type partner, and this really speaks to, this is the reason why all of this is happening kind of in this way, even though maybe somebody might be conceding and not fully getting what it is that they think they want, you know, fully, because maybe they want their cake and eat it too. Maybe they don't want to have to put in as much effort, or maybe they don't want to realize that it's as much pain as maybe that they, you know, are going to have to face. And I think that's actually it. They don't want to have to face the Ten of Swords, right? And in this Ten of Swords, because it is reverse, it means that because of all this, the pain will actually dissipate. They are Ten of Swords-ish now because of the fact that their partner, their person is leaving or is further away from them. It's not really helping. They don't want to feel this Ten of Swords. They don't want to, you know, feel that pain anymore. And that really, instead of being Hanged Man, where they're just kind of still thinking about it, still taking a step back to get a deeper perspective, they're just no longer hanged man, and they're able to really now take a look at the future. Now, they do not know what the future is going to bring for them, and that is probably why there's been all this kind of delay with getting this person kind of to this point. But you do see the Two of Wands, you know, is really somebody who's making a decision, who's taking a look at, you know, future possibilities, what's going to happen here. And because it's in reverse, I think this individual might be scared of because they don't know, you know, what it brings. It could be more pain. It could be this Ten of Swords. And it could also speak to, for some of you guys, they don't want to experience the Ten of Swords. So they are just kind of moving along and deciding to go with what it is that they think will be best in the situation. So we're going to read the other pile here that we pulled, which I believe was the Strength card on top. Yes. So we will lay these down. Oh, how beautiful. We have the King and the Queen sitting side by side. Okay, so I think that, not sure if we picked up the bottom of the deck yet, but we do have the Three of Cups on the bottom of the deck, so there is some reconciliation that is happening. Now, I know a lot of readers like to read this as a third party. I haven't really seen anything third party here. I am picking up, though, a very heavy reconciliation from the person who got left behind, really wanting to reconcile. You know, this is turning into very much a situationship. So, you know, I keep looking back at this Seven of Wands, where somebody's a little bit disappointed in the other individual for maybe thinking they did something on purpose. Maybe it is, you know, they're being deceitful by not committing to me because maybe they are doing XYZ. I think this is more speaking to a feeling that this individual is having, even though it should not stop, you know, the individual that's feeling that way to make really a statement by saying, I am going to focus on myself and move forward here and pull away from this connection to do my thing because I want an equal give and take, right? We talked about, I think in the other pile, where we might think we're just giving and giving and giving, and then we're upset because we're not getting it in return. But Spirit is really saying, why are you expecting something in return for giving? A giving should be something that somebody is wanting to do in order to benefit another. And if you feel you're doing it to gain something, then maybe you should question whether you're giving out of an intent of wanting something in return, which again would not be your person's issue. That'd be something you'd want to look at, right? And we do appreciate a giver for sure, but not necessarily because you're giving it's going to be that you're right or that you're in a position to be right. So maybe some self-reflection, self-reflection like we saw in the Six of Cups there, where the bird was looking in the mirror. Once you give self-reflection, your individual will most likely do self-reflection as well. So we need to look within so that we can find where we're doing maybe something that's not helping, and the other individual will most likely do the same thing. It kind of disarms the situation a little bit better as well. So you do see here, now give me a minute to see if this is a continuation or what we are seeing here. Okay, so I think this pile is more speaking to your person's perspective or the other individual involved. Maybe it could be your energy, but it's the individual who was not doing the committing, or the one who was maybe doing the perceived deceiving. But what I'm seeing here is that they were stuck in the energy of not wanting to materialize something forward or tangible forward, practical thing of doing to make the connection move forward, because they knew that, and they do know, I'm assuming here, that they're going to have to put in some effort. So they did recognize that they weren't putting forward the full effort. Now I'm picking up for some of you, this is a newer realization for them, to want to have things balanced out. So we do have heavy Libra energy here, but they are knowing that that is one of the reasons why maybe things are not quite where they need to be. And once that clicks, that they've made that decision. So some of them have known that they weren't equally giving and taking, and they just kind of sat in that energy, and you just kept giving until you pulled the plug and ran away. And again, assuming it's you, one individual, but once they realize that, and they know that they weren't putting the effort, but they make the decision to balance things out and say, you know what, I'm going to make the decision that I do want to move forward with more effort in this relationship, then they will heavily consider, coming forward with their Knight of Cups. Now it is in reverse, so I am assuming that at this point in time, they still haven't made that decision, which is why you haven't heard from this individual, and they're still kind of upside down here, because I would say this is more current energy and this is more future energy, where, where the Knight of Cups is coming forward with this offering, and then from the Knight of Cups to this King of Wands, which is really speaking of desire here. And then we do see here the Knight of Pentacles, which is now speaking to that tangible progress, right? That we need to make something more practical rather than just a desire that's held. And you can see that is kind of, something that they're considering doing right now with the balancing of the relationship is, do I go forward and make this offer here? right? Which would probably have to start with them apologizing, maybe realizing that they do want this connection or more from this connection before they make that step into something that's a little bit more practical. I do see the Queen of Cups and the King of Swords, which is beautiful side by side, which again just confirms that this is a very soulmate type connection. I do recognize both King and Queen are looking forward rather than each other, so I do sense from and the birds are looking the opposite way, that this connection is very, very unique, that you guys have each other's back, that you guys have an unspoken connection where you don't have to tell each other what it is that the other is thinking, but you guys both have the loyalty to know that the king has the queen's back, the queen has the king's back, no one has to say anything, and that, you know, they're looking, they're protecting each other and looking over the other's shoulder to make sure that that person is safe and protected. And it's a very strong union that I'm sensing here. And this is, again, your person, the person who wasn't really fully committing or taking that action step is really the one that's wanting this and sees that as that type of a connection. They do fear that the Ten of Cups in reverse here, that you know, that abundance and that greatness is going to be taken away from them, right? When their person pulls away and leaves. And that's what's really going to drive them to want to make that first step in doing a plan of being practical and offering something, because they don't want to be without their queen, without their king, you know, and not have their abundance that they see, this Ten of Cups, this full potential realized. They want to hang on to it as best they can, right? They want to hang on at any cost to make this work, even if it means, you know, conceding resentfully, because we did see in the other pile that begrudgingly, it's not really what they wanted to do, but it was something that they decide is the best in order to have this happy union here. The Eight of Swords here, again, this, because it's falling around these energies, you know, still speaks of this person still thinking that, you know what, I still think I'm right. I still don't feel that I really fully want to do this, but I'm going to. But, you know, it is in reverse, but it's because I have a feeling that they still need to go through some emotions to figure out what it is that, you know, once they put wheels in action, what it is that's going to transpire. So this is more speaking to, I think, fears in their mind that might not be realized, fears in their mind of why they didn't move forward, that might still be there. So it's like, yes, I'll do this, but this doesn't resolve, you know, my fear of why it was that I was scared to put so much effort into it, because I wasn't, you know, maybe necessarily ready to go down that road, but now they're kind of, you know, more forced. And it's not that you're forcing them, but the situation has forced them to view it that way, because they want to hang on to the beautiful connection that's here, right? So this was the second part of pile number 2. We do have one more pile to read in this pile number 2, and we'll see what this is speaking to. We're just going to shuffle this over. These are a lot of cards to read, guys. Hopefully this is resonating for a lot of you guys. I have a feeling that if you are here, you should probably check out pile number 1, because it seems to me like this might be a continuation. But okay, so we did know that this card was the yes. So you've listened to this whole reading to get the yes answer, and this is how we determined it was a yes. But through adversity, you know, through a lot of trials and tribulations, did we get to this yes? That's what this card speaks of right here. So I want to see what we have here. Okay, so maybe well, we do have sunflowers. We have the sun here. What I'm thinking is, well, just give me a minute before I open my loud mouth and make assumptions. I'm thinking this is the worst fear of the individual right now in the connection, of why it is that they are in the state that they're in before the person decides to actually walk away from them. And again, for some of you guys, I'm picking up, you already walked away and you're kind of curious, checking in how that, you know, the yes or no about that individual. But for some of you guys, you're on the precipice of taking that step, and really this is showing some insight as to why that person was not, you know, was not moving forward. So it really is, you know, the tower moment that happens when the person leaves or pulls the connection really makes that individual have that Five of Cups feeling that they are just, you know, if we saw the Three of Swords here, then it would be just, you know, that person would immediately call you and say, I can't deal with you, out of my life, come back. But because they are feeling this Five of Cups, right, with the tower moment, they might, you know, try to convince themselves that they're okay, but their initial feeling of all this is, I don't really need, you know, the Four of Wands, which speaks of stability in this type of a situation. I don't really need it or want it per se. I don't really desire to have that in my life right now. You know, I don't want the traditional relationship or connection. You know, they're feeling kind of, even though they're feeling like they're down and out, they're still not recognizing that we do have the Three of Swords, guys. I said if we didn't have the Three of Swords. Okay, so yes, this person, I mean, it is in reverse, but I do feel like this person is going to feel a lot of heartbreak, like a lot of heartbreak, where once the person walks away, you know, people who have already walked away, you'll probably end up hearing from your person, I would say almost immediately. But you do see with this Five of Pentacles, somebody who is down and out, not only because that person left. I think it's really speaking to, they're generally feeling this way about the situation within themselves, regardless if it's with you or not, because they don't know how to connect to that side of themselves yet. So it is, you know, somebody who's just kind of feeling this way and not moving forward to do something really about it, right? Not until the person walks away, or that tower moment where they're telling themselves that they like this, they don't like that, they want this, all these things that they think that they want and they need. No, it's, you know, they have no sunlight, their sunshine is gone, the bright light, which is their other half, you, the person who's walked away, they just feel as though that is not what it is that they want. It's not making them happy, right? It's not going to give them that stability that that they need. They think that they don't want their traditional, you know, stability that one would consider stable. They're, you know, pretty much, I see here they're really lying to themselves, but maybe it is something that they thought that they always wanted, and they need to review their values. They need to review whether it is something that they want, and really the catalyst to getting them to take that, to make that step, is the other individual kind of pulling away. So that is what I have for these cards. We are going to pull a oracle card to give some advice to you guys and see what we get. And we are also going to make sure that if you guys feel you've resonated with this pile, that you are just taking a look at the first card pull for the other two piles to see if there's anything in there that might resonate before leaving altogether. Okay, I think this card wants to come out. So we do have solitude. I am sensing that, you know, your person's going to have to go through some solitude time. I think they've had enough time maybe to be solitude where then they can realize, but really I think this is speaking to you, because solitude is going to give that clarity needed in order for you to progress, but also for the other person to see, you know, to see what it is that they might be missing once it's gone, right? So it's okay. It's saying it's okay to even have a fantasy, right? You have this girl reading a book, looks like it might be a fairy tale type book. There's fantasy, there's letting out all this stuff. So it's okay to wish for what it is you're wishing for, even though it might seem unrealistic or maybe fantasy, but just manifest it, wish it. Don't try to manipulate or at least expect how it's going to be about. Just know what it is, that it is what you want, because the clarity really comes from this time, the solitude by itself. So the time alone spent really gives that clarity that's needed. And I can't help but notice this beautiful girl, right, with this beautiful sleeves. She's wearing such a beautiful dress. Maybe get prettied up. I get a sense that maybe it's been a while since you've been able to maybe buy some new clothes, or you can even be a girl or a guy, or put some nice jewelry on. Looks like she's even wearing some makeup. Just feel pretty about yourself, to allow yourself that freedom to just do something that's going to make you feel beautiful, be in tune with yourself. And that solitude time really gives you that reflection. I'm going to pull one more card for the oracle, even though this reading's been fairly long. And I apologize if you hear noise in the background. That's what happens when you have teenagers. Okay, memories. So I do sense that, for some of you guys, even if it's been a pretty short-ish relationship, you guys do have a lot of really pivotal points of either when you guys met or what's happened in the relationship that you keep going back to these memories. And if you have been together for quite some time, the memories is kind of what you're hanging on to, right? But you do see that this girl has a match, and when you have a match and you light up a Christmas tree, everything kind of goes up in flames. So I'm sensing that this girl, right, is now taking a match to the memory. So if you catch yourself kind of, nothing wrong with thinking back, but right now when your heart might be raw, or when you're in pain, or when you are determined to do something, you don't want to reminisce too much in a memory, because a memory is a memory. Like I said, it's okay to have that fantasy, but try not to make it personal to a connected memory to the past, because it might just hold you back to doing same old. So set a flame to the memories for now. Doesn't mean that they're gone, it just means you're not hanging on to them in your mind, right? Because that might be getting the results that or slowing the results that you might want. I'm noticing here there's like a duck, but it's a very weird looking duck. So it's almost like maybe the memory is a little bit distorted too, right? Maybe we're remembering or we're embellishing a type of memory that's not quite what it was, how it happened, which is tying us into that memory more than maybe need be. So yeah, it's setting a flame to light that memory up and let it go a-blazing until there's some healing that's done. So that is what I'm getting for pile number 2. Thank you so much, you guys, for letting me do this reading, sharing with me your energy. I am so grateful to you guys. You can definitely check out pile number 1 or pile number 3 if you'd like, and if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do so. Thank you so much, and we'll get ready for pile number 3. So hi, pile number 3. We're just going to get pile number 2 out of the way, and we will get to your pile. So if you pick pile number 3, which is the brass skeleton key and the Tim Burton Nightmare Before Christmas tarot, this will be your reading. And as I made mention in the intro, in case you skipped it, I am going by Prairie Vintage Jewelry, but for YouTube I am Fancy for Glass, and I am an energy reader. I have been reading energy for a very long time. I have been reading tarot for, you know, a couple of decades. And I really use the messages from Spirit and the energy for me to be able to pick up messages using the tarot. Okay, I do private readings. Now, again, I am very flexible with, you know, what that looks like as far as costs, but also the type of reading that's required. I would just need to know what the situation is that you're inquiring about so that I can give the best suggestion as to what sort of reading it would be. But send me a message. My email is below, so you can certainly reach out to me if you want to ask a question about the reading today. I will do my best to respond. You know, leave me a comment if you'd like. I really appreciate any feedback, positive or negative or indifferent. That is fine with me. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull one card just to get an overall feel about what the topic is for this reading. And if it's not resonating at all, then you can certainly go to another pile or another reading altogether. If it is speaking to something that sounds familiar but not your question, you might want to stick around. Like I made mention to the other piles, it could be a situation or circumstance that needs to be resolved or come about in order for your specific circumstance or situation to be a yes or a no. This might be a little bit more, might be more priority, which is why Spirit is bringing it to your attention. But again, if it doesn't resonate, no need to stick around here. So we will pull one card. We'll also pull keywords just to give you a little bit of a reinforcement as to what this might be about. Okay, so Spirit, we're going to ask that you give the most concise message today for pile number 3 regarding their situation and their circumstance. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have the 8 of Potions. Okay, so Potion speaks to cups on this tarot card. So I say but really 8 of Cups is not really to but it's just what I suspected that we were getting. Someone who is really at this point looking at a situation from a perspective that maybe tunnel vision in such a way. I'm not saying that it's you, could be your person. More is to be determined, but this is certainly around feelings. The other 2 were around a connection as well, so this could very well be around a connection. We'll pull some keywords so that we can get some clarity. I just want to see actually in the book here what it is suggesting, because I have a feeling this might give us a little bit more clarity. Okay, so 8 of Potions comes forward when a dream once achieved isn't quite as fulfilling as expected. You work so hard for this, but you're still not satisfied. Take some time to reflect on your current feelings and needs because they may have changed, and adjust your situation accordingly. So, like I made mention, somebody might have tunnel vision, but then realize when they step away that what they thought they wanted, they don't. And tying in all these cards, and I'm sorry if you had to listen to the long-winded video because they're all tied in, but this is tying back to an individual who will have to, or at least is deciding to, walk away from an unfulfilling connection because it is too painful for them to stay there. Maybe the other individual didn't realize or put enough effort as to what it is that this individual wants. It could be you or your person, but it's really you know, just putting in effort until you just get so discouraged that you're like, you know what, is this even worth it? Right? Like, is this even worth my time? Am I just putting this in but it's not going to be rewarding? So it does really tie into the other ones, but if this sounds like something that you're going through, we'll get to the yes or no's, but I'm gonna give you guys some keywords so that you can be reinforced that this is your person. It may help, it may not. So we got fighter, so maybe this individual is, you know, a fighter, literally. Figuratively, could be that somebody's fighting more for this connection than the other, and they feel like they've been a fighter of the connection more so than the other. Maybe I'm also hearing a firefighter. One of you guys might be. Maybe that's a nickname somebody calls someone fighter. Maybe there's something to do with liking watching UFC or fights or boxing. Maybe you guys like to play wrestle. Maybe you guys like fighting in video games. Interesting. Okay, so starseed. Okay, so I am sensing, picking up same energies as I was picking up in the other reading, that the starseed, I mean, maybe some of my viewers aren't really believing in starseed, but starseed would certainly mean, you know, an earth, an energy coming onto Earth from a different, you know, a different planet, different solar system, coming from the universe, a different breed of energy coming to Earth. I feel that, you know, star seeds are here really to be able to, you know, provide their guidance, their energy to the earthly beings. And I feel as though maybe you or your individual or both of you guys might be star seeds, or you guys have talked about it or feel like you guys are, or maybe you see that, but you're definitely cut from the same cloth as the individual that you're contemplating either walking away from or realizing that maybe it's not the best situation for you to be in, not very healthy. So we get garden here. I think that came up in the other reading for getting healthy, or anyway, gardening. I sense that you or your person likes to garden, and it is, somebody has a green thumb here, and they like to eat fresh food. I am picking up healthy. I'm going to pull one more card here. One of you guys really likes plants. Maybe somebody gave somebody a plant as a gift. And then we have here a Taurus. So somebody could be a Taurus. Maybe there's an earth energy, which could be Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus. Maybe somebody drives a Ford Taurus. But yeah, that's what I'm picking up. And we'll get into the yes or no. And then if it is undecided, it will show us why maybe it's undecided at this time. And some background to give us some clarity into timelines as well. Now, I don't know if I pulled timelines on the pile number 2, but we will remember to pull some timelines. I'm just going to put it over here so I can remember to pull some pivotal timelines for you guys at the end of this reading. But we will ask Spirit to be as concise as Spirit can be. We are very appreciative. Please give us a yes or no to the question that pile number 3 was asking about, and some clarity around their situation or their circumstance that will guide us and give us some insight. Thank you very much, Spirit. Okay. 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 I honestly, when I'm channeling, I don't remember a lot of what it is that I said. I kind of remember vague stuff. So I don't even remember if pile 1 was a yes or no. I don't remember if pile 2 was a yes or no. But I do know that these piles are somehow connected. But what I'm seeing here is a yes. And the yes is like so clear. It's like it's like couldn't get any more yes than this yes that I have here, which is the most amazing yes. So you have an inspired, driven, a definite yes for your answer. And now we're gonna look at some cards behind. Now I am super glad we didn't get a whole crap load of cards like we did in pile 2, because that was probably yes, a very intense, deep reading. You can go over there and check it out. But for the first part of pile 3, we have here the Devil in reverse, the King of Potions, and the Ace of Needles. So what this speaks of is somebody has to really let go of either there's a codependency or an obsession of some type that's maybe an old way of thinking, an old value, an old belief, something that's kind of keeping them, I guess, stuck in an energy that they're going to have to completely unblock and let go of in order to be the King of Cups. And the King of Cups speaks of somebody who is emotionally available to have communications about feelings and not be overly emotional, but be very centered with their feelings, understanding how they feel, being connected to their feelings, enjoying a committed relationship because they are able to open up with them, with their emotions, but they have to let go of the devil type energies before they can accept that part. So the Ace of Needles, I believe, came up in the other deck. It was the Ace of Swords, which was through adversity. So because this is the last reading or the last pile, I'm still thinking they're connected, that this is yet again a continuation, because this Ace of Needles is like the Ace of Swords, which is through adversity we're getting to this place, right? So adversity would mean things such as this Eight of Cups saying, do I walk away? Yes, walking away, or is this even, you know, why am I putting all this effort? Am I even gonna get what it is that I want out of this? You know, and really it's saying it needs to be done in order for all this adversity to happen, all this pain to, not that pain needs to happen, but in order to get clarity and perspective and people dropping their devilish attitudes. Again, could be you or your person. I'm just picking it up as you're the one who's kind of walking away from maybe a situation that you don't really want to, but you're kind of forced. But right now, all I see here is somebody who's realizing, and it could very well be your person actually. Now I saw that as you, but your person realizing, you know, is this even worth my effort and my time? Yes, it is, right? Whereas the other individual is saying, do I need, or is it worth all my effort? No, I will walk away. So it's like you're mirroring your person. One's asking one question. They're both asking the same question, but one's answering in the opposite way, because one of you guys has been a little bit more committed, more involved, more effort, whereas it's like I've reached my limit. The other one is like, well, I'm going to have to, you know, is it worth me putting in effort in order for me to have to give up maybe some of the luxuries? Maybe there's some addictions, maybe there's some obsessions, maybe there's a way of being that's habitual, that's hard to break, in order to get my king, to be the King of Potions that I know I need to be, right? So that's what we got with the first section, and now we will read the second section of this. The Moon, the Five of Cups, which is the Five of Potions here. We got the Emperor in reverse, King of Needles, which is the King of Swords upright. We got the Six of Pentacles, which is the Six of Presents, the Knight of Needles, the Knight of Potions, which is the Knight of Cups. We got the Ten of Wands. We got the Death in reverse, the Four of Wands in reverse, the Magician in reverse, Seven of Cups upright, and the Queen of Cups upright. Okay, so this Ace, I hope you guys can see this. Let me just shuffle this down, because I'm getting in that channeling mode. You guys might not be able to see all these cards here. So let me just give these cards a look through. Okay, guys, I think I put this Ace of Candles here, but this was really the last card. You know, we had 3 piles here, but it's going to remain here because it almost looks like his arms extending. Isn't that funny? It looks like this Knight of Needles, who looks very devilish, his arms extending this wand at the end, which I find is really fitting and very cute, and we will get to that. But this is definitely a continuation of what we've been going through. So blessed to walk down this path with you guys, for sure. So we have the moon here, which speaks of illusions. Things in the moonlight obviously look different than in the daylight, and something that we might have perceived to be a certain way may not be as we perceive it to be in the light of the moonlight. So individual who may have you know, been contemplating or been in kind of an illusion. I have a feeling it's the person who was just stuck. It could be the person, I'm getting 2 things. I'm getting the person who was stuck, you know, in not wanting to progress further, wanted to kind of stay in fantasy land, which is represented by the 7 of Cups here, you know, kind of in this imaginary fantasy land, and not wanting to do the Knight of Potions, which is the Knight of Cups, and offering, extending that emotional offering, or you know, stepping forward with their feelings or sharing of their feelings. But I also get that the person who walked away maybe from or is considering walking away, or is getting very close to calling it quits, is maybe coming out of their illusion of the moon and saying, you know what, in order for me to be this Knight of Cups and offer of love and be content, like, I'm gonna have to, you know, walk away or really contemplate whether this is the best thing for me. You see the 5 of Cups here, which is really in this depiction, you know, this is Jack Skellington. He's like, ugh, like, no, I just can't even look over. But he's really dramatic and just not even wanting to go and take a look at what's, you know, what's going on. But I also see it as, because he's looking away from the moon, it's like, I'm just tired. This could be you. I'm just tired of being in this fog and this state of not knowing what's up, what's down, you know, what's real, what's not. But I also see this as the person who is there is also feeling this way, because you guys are mirroring each other, and it's very burdensome. It's so heavy on the relationship. I'm getting a feeling, very strong feeling now, that this is the current energy of both you and your person mirroring each other with this 10 of Cups, or sorry, 10 of Wands, which is the 10 of Candles here. It's a very heavy energy. It's very tiresome. It's very tiring for both of you guys to have this back and forth, you know, should we move forward, should we not, what's real, what's not. This Emperor in reverse kind of speaks to how maybe you're seeing your person and maybe how they're seeing themselves, which is really, you know, well, when you have an Emperor, it can either be positive or negative depending on how they show up as the Emperor. The Emperor is, you know, orderly, takes control, is commanding, could also be very stubborn. So I'm seeing here, because it is in reverse and it is probably a blocked energy, that the stubbornness of what maybe your other party, or the party who wasn't doing anything or wasn't really moving forward, you know, is embracing this stubborn energy. But the Death upside down too speaks of hanging on to an old way of being, an old pattern, or an old, we did see the Devil in the previous pile, so it did speak of maybe having an obsession, an addiction, a habit, a hobby, something that's very detrimental to what's going on with the rest of their life, maybe not addressing the emotional feelings and emotions because we're too wrapped up in maybe other things. But you do see a turning point here with the King of Needles, which speaks of the King of Swords, taking a look at kind of the future, right? He's not looking this way. He's now looking for, saying, actually, I should. really give this some really good consideration. Never mind just this way of how I was feeling and thinking, because this Ten of Wands, I keep saying Ten of Pentacles. Ten of Wands is a feeling that nobody wants to have anymore. Everyone wants to kind of get rid of it, even though there's some feeling of wanting to stick with the old and kind of hang on to it. The need to take a look and really come in there with a new perspective, like the King of Swords, which is this King of Needles, to take a look at what could be benefited, because, you know, this Four of Candles, which would be the Four of Wands, is the stability, right? The future, taking a look at what can be, is upside down. So it's like the stability isn't really there, you know, unless the King of Swords can look forward as to what's going to make me be happy and stable in the future. And you have here the Six of Pentacles, which is really that give and take, which, you know, I think this is what this speaks of, right? Like, is it even worth all this effort? It's like, well, I need to start getting some fruits to my labor. I need to start seeing some stuff. And this really speaks of, you know, a more balanced give and take, rather than just a one-sided giving. And the Magician in reverse is, well, the Magician speaks of manifesting stuff and actually taking control, but because it's in reverse here and all these cards are in reverse, I think the King of Needles realizes that they had a big role in having to take the action, you know, having to be more Emperor, having to be more Magician in order to get to this, you know, to be able to give more effort, to have their fantasies filled out, to be able to get, you know, their desires filled and come to the Queen of Cups. But they are trying to think right now of how it is that they can get out of that state, out of that reverse Emperor state, out of that devil energy that we saw in the other pile. Let's say if it's not connected, then this Death card is still hanging on to, I read this as kind of devil energy, hanging on to outdated, molded ways of being, old things that no longer serve you, values and stuff that you're doing, that you or your person may be doing, that no longer serve your life. And then you have here the Knight of Wands and the Ace of Wands, which is really your person, because this is ending off this reading like this. It's beautiful, having that desire to want to move forward, to, yes, make that decision to move forward in this connection. That does speak of desire. I don't see any pentacles yet, so I don't see that there's anything here that's tangible. And when I say tangible, it's like not really bringing forward you know, a practical solution that's we're actually going to see a manifestation. I still see this fantasy card here. I still think they desire, they fantasize about you, no doubt about it. There's a lot of passion here. There's a lot of desire to be happy with the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups really speaks of maybe someone who's giving and giving and giving emotions here, you know, and I think this person maybe doesn't want to be at the point where they're just giving of emotions, but I do see this represented as the other individual, which may be you. Just a reminder here that you don't want to be so Queen of Cups, to have a balanced give and take, because again, having the onus to say I might have been giving more than you know, what I might have should have been doing in the connection, and just taking accountability for what it is that you're putting forward. If you feel drained, it may be you know, you're draining your own self, so just kind of be aware of that. But we do see the Knight of Wands stepping forward, and I love this part here. Hopefully that's captured in the camera, because I can't get over how amazing that that looks and how this reading is going to end here. Okay, so I do want to take a look at the bottom of the deck, because I don't think we saw this. So we do have the Five of Wands, which speaks to challenges. This is certainly a challenge. It looks like there's a lot of challenges that have to be overcome, especially the devil energy, somebody really having to let go of old ways. Could speak to competition as well. Maybe somebody feels like there is some competition with, you know, either they're having to compete with whatever that other person is committing their time or their energy to, and they feel like they're kind of losing the battle, and they're deciding whether it's even worth it. Should I step away? Cards are giving me a yes. If you have to step away, please do. Focus on yourself. And I believe we need to do an oracle reading as well. So we're going to do that. And get some advice before I give advice without seeing the oracles. We'll let the oracles speak to that. And I'm going to give you, before we get into the oracle, just some timelines. It feels like we just did an oracle card, but that must have been for pile number 2. Okay, you can hear my son in the background. I apologize. So we're going to pull some, maybe 1, maybe 2, depending on the answer we get here. Just an idea. Oh, we got a key word here. We should see it. Mother. Okay, well, mother came up in the last reading, and maybe I had mixed the two, but maybe there's a mother figure that's involved here. Maybe you feel like you've been a mother figure to your person. Maybe you should call your mother after this. Maybe you are a mother, but mother came up and it shouldn't be in this pile. Maybe it's just telling you, you know, to go take a look at, I believe that came up in pile number 1. Could have been pile 2 though, but you might want to go check those out. So we are going to get an idea of timeline. Now, this timeline doesn't necessarily mean when, you know, your person's going to step forward, but it will certainly give you an idea of maybe when things will change, maybe when some major milestone is going to happen. So we have 1 month. So 1 month from now, either your person's going to, you know, show an improvement. Maybe 1 month from now there will be some progress. Maybe 1 month from now, you know, after stepping away, maybe a month from now you'll have the clarity that you do need, that you're saying, you know what, screw this, I deserve better, I just want to move on, I don't want to be, you know, stuck in the situation that I'm in. So I am going to pull one more card here, and we have January. So because this is a timeless reading and we are in June, you know, I kind of gave warning in the other cards. Doesn't mean, you know, you got to wait all the way till January before the answer to your question is, but it is giving you a pivotal time where you can probably, you know, look back on this circumstance and realize all the clarity that you might be missing, you know, and everything might be completely different than how it is today in January. Or one of you guys might have a birthday in January, and that's because this is the first month. You might have your birthday might be in January. You might have met in January. That is interesting. Okay, so we're gonna do oracle card giving some advice, and this is the gratitude oracle, which is beautiful drawings in these cards, and they've been very blessed. These messages have been so heartfelt. So thank you, Spirit. Please, for pile number 3, can we get some advice, some oracle cards that are clear and concise, that can help pile number 3 in this circumstance or situation that they are experiencing. Thank you so much, Spirit. And we're going to clear the energy with the bell. Okay. Okay. Patience. Well, isn't patience a virtue? I know it's probably the worst word that someone wants to hear when they are the ones that have been giving and giving and giving. If this is you who feels like you've been giving and giving, to have patience in a situation where you feel like there's an impasse, where you feel really stuck, but it's really reminding you, it's really Spirit saying there's a reason why it's called patience. There's a reason why we need to be patient, right? So you do see patience. I do see, it seems like almost like this lady's hair is on fire too. So it's like, how am I going to remain patient with my hair on fire? Well, clearly in this situation, we need to resolve the hair on fire. So when you feel like the situation is getting where you have to do something, which I find for this reading, or this pile specifically, the person was hitting that point, that impasse, where it's like, what is it that I'm going to get out of this? I'm continuing to give. They feel like their hair is on fire. They want to now move on. It's Spirit saying, that's fine. You could still have patience for your person. You could still show some patience. But, you know, if your hair is on fire and feeling like you can't no more, it is okay to step forward, right? So you see she's kind of stepping away on these lily pads. I do see that these are these leaves. I do see that these leaves are soft, so it's like, and she has it around her neck as well. Normally someone wears a pendant for protection. So I do see like the way she's stepping, you are protected in the path that you are going to follow in order to be safe from what's going on here. It is the best course of action to take those steps, that you are protected in those steps, that the right decision and direction that you're going to go is taken. You do see butterflies in the background, so I think there is a lot of transformation that's going to happen within you, your person, and the situation. Lots of butterflies, so lots of things are going to kind of transpire and change. There's lots of transition here. You do see inside this this flower here, there is a gentleman holding a lady who looks like she's just had enough. She's just down and out. He's carrying her towards the path as well. So it can speak to several things. I'm picking up for a lot of you that your person does want to help, help support you. They understand you've put in a lot of effort. You have put in a lot to help them. They want to kind of carry you through this life path. I do sense a very strong feeling that it is a very connected soul mate or twin flame, or a very deep soulful connection. And your person, once they can get through all that adversity and make that change, that they can come and take you and just be your protector to help you in this situation. But it can also mean that you have a spirit guide, someone in your life that's able to, you can lean on, that you're able to really have guide you at this time. So you might want to consider that as well. So anyway, this is the last card for pile number 3. And we are done, all 3 readings. If this resonated, you might want to check out pile number 1 or pile number 2. Like I said, I do see similarities all